Hello and welcome to Universal Studios in Singapore. I'm about to take a look at two amazing sections of this theme park as two beautiful trains go shooting by this very impressive entranceway. Now, we have just got through the ticket chaos. You can see that there to the right hand side. And the first thing that we're about to explore is, of course, the Universal Studios store. Now, this is just going to be a highlight reel of what is available inside this store. There is going to be a full video available, because I did film the whole thing, but that will be coming in a separate upload just because there's so much footage. But you can see the difference with this compared to some of the others around the world that I've already filmed, because as you walk in, it is undercover in certain sections, just because the temperature is so hot. But these things here, these hairbands, were probably one of the best sellers. So many people were buying all of those, and if you're a Transformers fan, you can get loads of different exclusive bits and pieces from this theme park as well. So there is a lot of store merchandise to take a look at from the Universal Studios store upload, so keep your eyes peeled for that as and when it gets uploaded, or it might already be uploaded depending on when you stumbled across this video, but it will be available in the Universal Singapore playlist. Now, you can see as we start walking up New York, I am literally doing this for the first time, so I had absolutely no idea where I was going. I didn't have a park map, and I did not know what was coming next. So we are literally seeing this together for the first time. The full park tour will be all of the other little bits and pieces that I would have missed when I did this for the first time, and that will be added to the playlist as the very last upload. So again, depending on when you caught this video will depend on what videos are already available on the channel. So we'll stick to what we can see at the moment. The popcorn machine to the right hand side, that became a very big photo opportunity for a lot of people for some reason, and you can see we're still walking past the same Universal Studios store. That is why it's in a separate upload, because it is just that big. But there's lots and lots of different places to take photos. You can see all of the big statues and characters outside each one of these individual stores. So it was very impressive to see. You can just see a snippet of the roller coaster track from the sci-fi section in the distance, and if you went in and turned left, that was all under construction. So I'm very looking forward to seeing what that is going to turn into. I do believe it's going to be all Minions and all those different bits and pieces going in there, which is already available at the Universal in Florida. But of course, with all the new films and all those bits and pieces that they keep releasing, it makes sense that every single Universal banner has the Minions at the moment, but it does seem to be a very popular topic. And again, Kung Fu Panda, I do believe, is making a comeback as well. I think we're on their fourth film that's about to be coming out in 2024 as well. But you can see you've got all of these nice little bits and pieces. You've got information with regards to wait times. So it says far away isn't far away. I had no idea what that meant when I first came in. It's because there is a far away land. Now, you can get there by following the arrows to the left hand side, but I thought I'd just come in and do a loop as I went round to the right hand side, because I wanted to see if this sort of New York / Hollywood section carried on going there. But if you keep walking in a straight line, you've got all of this really nice water. Again, keep your eyes peeled on that roller coaster to the right hand side. You've got all the shade and shelter with seating just underneath there. Then all of a sudden it opens up into a load of water. Now, if you have been to this park before the construction work and all the building work started, what used to be there instead of Minion Land? Now, you can see it is opening in 2024. So this video, from the time of this being filmed, from me doing the voiceover, is only about 6 weeks apart. So it did look like some of the structures and buildings were there or thereabouts ready. Only just needed a lick of paint and some other little bits of theming. I would imagine they would have that section open for the main summer holiday, which is only going to be a few weeks away from when this video actually gets uploaded onto YouTube. So if you have seen that now and you've been to that new land, then obviously please let me know in the comment section. And if you know what used to be there before the Minions took over, again, let us know. But this is a really nice, simple park to navigate. You just walk down the main strip, you turn left, you turn right. It's one big circle with a couple of cut-throughs, and then you come back to the beginning again. So again, with the full park tour, that's exactly what we do, and we check out all of the different shops and everything like that. But they do have the Mel's Cafe, which they do have at all of the others as well. And of course, they have all the cars and vehicles and everything just dotted out the front. But the building work to the right-hand side looked massive. So I'm assuming you could literally just turn left like you could have just turned right here, but you could also walk in a straight line and loop it around the water. So there is kind of 3 different ways that you can go, but obviously I've just walked through the park gates and there is a lot of people just coming up and back down. So I'm just doing this as a little bit of a horseshoe, just having a look at all of the other little bits and pieces that are available. You can see you could go left to New York, you've got Sci-Fi City, you've got the Egypt store and everything like that as well, and all of those are available in separate uploads. So I do believe what we're going to do is we're going to walk all the way down and then we're going to jump back to the top without me walking all the way back up again, and then we're going to take a look at the New York section. So again, if there's any of these stores that are standing out to you, because they have got the Minion Mart already open, so they've got all of the different merchandise and things available in there. And again, that popcorn thing in front of us, that was a very, very big photo op. When I walked around for like the second time, there was loads and loads of people just taking photos absolutely everywhere, which is lovely to see, just soaking it all in and making lots and lots of memories. This definitely was a very different experience coming to Universal Studios outside of America. It's amazing how many people are taking photos of a lot of things, and just it's almost like it's a slightly older demographic that comes over this way as well. But at the same time, all the younger ones were at school, and I have hit America when they have been on their sort of break. So again, it's hard to put 2 and 2 together, but I do recognise Candelicious, and I do recognise some of these other stores because that is very similar to some of the other Universal Studio parks that I've been to around the world. So again, if you want to check those playlists out, there is a Universal Studios Hollywood and a Universal Studios Florida videos and playlists available, so you can check out all of the other parks. So this is walking all the way back to where we started, and you can just see how long that takes. So that was 6 minutes just to do that very, very basic loop, and I missed this when I first came in, so this is actually going to be available in a separate video. This is all to do with lots of different artwork, and this was very, very popular as well. So now we have jumped way back up. You can see Kung Fu Panda's making his move on the way down. We're back up by the popcorn thing, and you can actually buy the popcorn on the other side, but everybody was just taking photos in front of it as well. Obviously now you know that we're going to walk in a straight line. There we go. So I've just cut that bit, and then we're just going to turn right. So I potentially would have just gone in and gone left. I will imagine though, when that Minion Land opens up, everybody will be running to that first, so it'll make that section of the park and the far, far away very busy. But that does mean you might have a good opportunity to get on the roller coasters early, because I think because everybody got funneled as such this way, not on purpose. When you got to the sci-fi bit, there was big queues for some of the roller coasters, but then the Jurassic Park section was absolutely thriving. It was packed full of people, and their log flume was incredible. So that was very, very good indeed. So keep your eyes peeled for that, because it is nothing like any of the parks, because you are not in a flume, you are in like a much larger river rapids, big circular thing, and you could, and some people did, get absolutely drenched. Now again, like all the other theme parks, they do have the really nice classic cars. Everybody was obviously eating in that cafe. It's a nice easy place just to go and grab yourself a burger. Just a little bit further down there, that is where the big gallery was, so I'm assuming they will change the gallery bits and pieces over periods of time. So that is in a huge outbuilding, and again, that is something that I have filmed and that will be uploaded. And you've got another little eatery just here, and you can see you've got hats and accessories just on the inside there. Now don't forget, some of the fascias of these, the doors were exit and entrances for other bits and pieces, so the fascia was just very, very clever theming. Some of it looked like there were cinemas there and other little bits and pieces like that, when obviously there wasn't. Now the spaghetti space chase, when I'm there now, had a really, really long queue line. Once I had done a full loop of the park and come back again, that was only at about 5 minutes. So you don't necessarily have to get on the first thing you always see, but this confused me. This queue line, I thought people were queuing up for a ride. So you can see there are hundreds and hundreds of people just to my right hand side. There's nobody to my left. We do go down that alleyway. That is a photo opportunity heaven for anybody that wants to get really nice photos of a proper old school New York alleyway. But everybody to the right hand side is queuing up for breakfast. It's part of that tea room for a bakery. And I do believe they all just wanted some bread. So I don't get that, but it's not something that we do over here in the UK. But it was amazing to see how big that queue was. And it was like that for a good hour or so, and then it just calmed down. Now we've gone into the Big Berg bit, so you can see there's the big queue in there for bits and pieces, and we are just obviously looking at the shop for these little bits and bobs. So this was a nice little place just to come in. So if you're a fan of any of these characters, again, let us know in that comment section, because you've got all of the different ones there, and you can see you've got all the really nice t-shirts, the bags, and the theming for this was very, very good indeed. And obviously, again, depending on where you are around the world, they do have different theming. So they don't have the Simpsons here, for example, where they do have that in both of the other Universal Studio parks in America. So they do have different bits and pieces. They've got the sci-fi section here, which I don't know if they have that anywhere else around the world. They don't have the superhero section here. They don't have the Harry Potter section here either. So there's lots and lots of differences between all of the Universal Studio parks around the world. And I am slowly going to start ticking them off, and I'm going to see if I can get to another one somewhere in 2024, but where, I'm not 100% sure, but we shall wait and see for that. So again, you can see as we're coming round, there's lots and lots of different bits and pieces to have a look at. You've got the Press a Penny. They're very, very popular in lots of theme parks all around the world, but again, if you've got a favourite character from Sesame Street, you can then just pick and choose what one you want to have a coin, and you can just leave that into your collection. Now, again, coming back out, it was getting very hot very quickly, but I did appreciate all the fans that they had around here. And I also did appreciate the really nice amount of seating area and shelter that they had as well, because you can see over the top, that helped a lot. It did not create like a greenhouse effect, which is perfect, but then when you went through the sci-fi section, it was covered there, then it opened up, so there was plenty of air coming through, and it was just a nice little thing that they did. I say little thing, obviously there's construction that would have been absolutely massive. And again, you've got all of these fascias, so just around the outside you've got all of the fake doors and things like that. Where we're looking at right now on the steps, that is where they used to do, or they did, I say used to, that's where they did do all of their shows. So I saw probably 3 or 4 different shows just walking around, and there was always different things going on at different times. And again, perfect photo opportunities for anybody that wanted to take a load of photos. Now, don't forget, like I said, I'm doing this blind, so I had no idea what I was about to walk into, but you can see you've got these really cool little signs just here. Sci-Fi City, Ancient Egypt, The Lost World, Water World, which is a fantastic show. That was another thing that they had here, which I have seen that water show at one of the other theme parks. I didn't actually manage to catch the show here because I just ran out of time, because I would have liked to have compared this one to another one. But with Water World, they have splash zones, so if you sit in the wrong place, you will get drenched. They do warn you that the seats are even color coded, and depending on what color you sit on will depend on how wet you will actually get. But the weather was warm enough that you would dry off very, very quickly. Now that is the sci-fi zone, starting with Transformers. Check out that video, because that is a full tour like we're doing now of that area, and again, keep your eyes peeled for the full park tour as well. But I do like all of these bits and pieces of the doors. You've got all the artwork and things on there, and you can see you've got like the cinema bit just here where it looks like it's a real cinema, but of course all those doors are locked because it is just hiding a fascia for something else. And then you can go in there and there will be times for different live shows and things on the inside there. So that is a very, very nice looking building. And again, you've got all of the really nice bits and pieces here. So out of the 2 sections, do you prefer Hollywood or do you prefer New York? Now, I am glad that I actually managed to find the alleyway, and I only knew that this alleyway would exist in New York because of the cut through that they've got at Florida. So I wanted to explore and see exactly where we end up. Now, the reason why I have added Hollywood and New York together is because if I did them separately, it wouldn't have made any sense if it was separate for cutting through this alleyway to where you actually end up. So hopefully this will be a nice little handy cut through for you. And again, I came back up the cutway probably about an hour or 2 after filming this bit, and there must have been about 20 or 30 people just posing for Instagram stuff and making reels of stuff. because it was just the perfect backdrop if you wanted to create some content for yourself, and nobody was bothering each other either. It was just a sort of like a hidey hole, but the actual cut through to where you end up is very, very handy. But again, you can see you've got outfit is limited to the one side. Look at the queue for bread on the other. They obviously know it happens because they've got all the rope and everything out there ready for that, and then obviously that rope disappeared. But this is the alleyway that I was talking about. So you will see people with the big tripod bits and pieces, and they'll be setting stuff up. All of this is just fascia. It doesn't actually go anywhere. It doesn't do anything. It's just really, really nice to walk through. The steps are blocked off, which is a bit of a shame because it'd be nice to sit on the steps for you to grab a drink or a bite to eat because they are in the shade. Obviously, I understand why these are all blocked off because you've got the big ladders. But look at the size and the detail of this sort of almost old school New York gangster alleyway, and you can imagine this being used and in backdrops and films and things like that. It just looks like things that you would have seen in the past. But as you start walking through, you then get to the water that we saw at the start, and then if you were to turn right here, you would then go into the sci-fi area, and if you turn left, you actually end up right back by the CAF, which is the first bit that we saw in the start of New York. So obviously the CAF is New York at the end of Hollywood, and it's just interesting how they sort of merged the two together. But again, with regards to all of the theming and things here, and it's in good shade and shelter, that was a really nice thing to go up. And you can see there was a big taxi. Now the theming, if you turn right, it stays all New York based all the way up until where you hit Bumblebee's car, and then you can see here you've got the soft drink bit, and then that is obviously an open restaurant, and then you've got this nice water, and then you get this beautiful view of the other 3 areas of the park, or 4 areas if you're including the soon-to-be Minion Land that is going to be opening up. But guys, I am very, very quickly starting to run out of time, so if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Again, in that comment section below, let me know if you have been to this park before, let me know if you've been into this diner, for example, and more importantly to me, what has the Minions replaced? Because I should have done some research before I started to do the voiceover of this, but I'd like your help with regards to that, because I always find it fascinating what gets taken down and replaced with certain bits and pieces, and I wonder if in the Minion section they will leave an Easter egg, because in the far, far away section where you go into Shrek's castle, that was also blocked off. So I'm assuming you went underneath the big Shrek sort of castle bit, and then that took you in to the next land. So when I actually do the far, far away video, I will pay as much attention as possible to that and see if I can spot any Easter eggs that will be coming in to the Minion section. But everybody that is watching this that is local, you do have something exciting to look forward to, because the Minion area is a large area at Universal Florida, and they are starting to, I think they've been adding more and more bits in. They've changed some fascias, they've added in some different rides over there, and they have added in some different shops and different bits and pieces like that as well. But you can see you've got the far, far away is in the distance, which is the big castle. You've got the really nice impressive bit of water. You've got this, which is all in the shelter with a load of fans as well, which is very, very helpful. And then again, you're going down this big candy lane just here. That is where we walked down, so that's where everybody is going to be taking photos and things like that. And then as we cut through, again, not knowing where I'm going for the first ever time, to see that taxi was very, very impressive. You could have got a nice photo from the yellow cab company, and then not realizing it, obviously all of a sudden you then stood behind a huge roller coaster, which is a double track roller coaster with 2 completely different ways to actually access the ride on 2 different queue lines. One you kind of float, the other one you sit down in, and they are both launch roller coasters just like the Hulk at Universal Florida as well. But that thing was very, very surprising to see that there, because like I said, I came to this completely blind, and I wanted to explore this for myself for the first ever time. But you can see it does have some pace, and there was some good amount of screaming going on. And yes, there is a black track and a red track, and one of them you sit down on, and the other one you have your legs dangling down to the floor, folds away when you get into the actual queue line of the ride. But I am now going to shut up and leave you guys to it. So one more time, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We are about to run out of footage, so guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.